One. What's up? What's up? What's up? Wow. What's up, everybody? Yo, today is the 100th episode of the In Your Face show. And I'm here with a newcomer of the show. Her name is Phoebe Alexander.
Uh,
Xavier. Sorry about that.
Xavier.
Xavier.
Yeah, Xavier.
Xavier. And we're here, and I'm here interviewing her on her comic book called Superliminal Lancy.
It's actually a book.
Right.
It's a novel. It's or a short story collection.
Okay. Not. Yeah. I mean, my fault. My fault.
It's okay.
Superliminal Lancy. It's a novel. It's an awesome book, and check it out. But I'm gonna turn the tables on to her and let her introduce herself.
Oh, thank you.
Miss
My name is Phoebe
Xavier.
Xavier. I do make comic books. I have a bunch of comic books available on indieplanet.com/123go. A number of titles, and but I'm promoting lately my book Superliminal Latency, which is available now on Kindle, and which will be available soon on indieplanet.com. Um, and that's my author's copy, which is the first time I've ever had a book that I wrote myself published, and I'm pretty excited about it, pretty amped to have
Awesome. 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 What inspired you to pursue a career in this field?
that. I've been reading and writing since I was very young, so it's been a passion that I've had for like 30 years at least, 35 years maybe.
Mm, mm. So, like, what is the transition for you from doing comic books and novels? What's your transition?
I write both of them. I've written both like for decades now. Well, now I've written started with the short stories in this collection started around 2003 2004, and I didn't start on comic books till maybe about 2014 2015. So I comic books were something that I always like was interested in and wanted to do. It was on a bucket list of things that I would love to do. Write the X-Men is probably what I actually wrote on the bucket list, but making comic books is something that I started doing more and more when I stopped doing music. I did rap music from the late 90s till about 2018, and I was getting a little old and hadn't really put out any new songs, was just doing performances for the last few years that I was a performer doing music. And yeah, I just felt that comic books was something that I could do. Was more accessible for me being in my 40s, aging out of a music, an underground indie music career.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Thanks.
So you being a author, you know, when people come up to you, like at a convention or whatever, where you're selling your books, how does that make you feel?
I have not really done a table at a convention yet. There's some places that I've been
Oh,
able to set my books up and sell them to people in like smaller uh, like First Friday kind of scenarios. I don't know what your town has, but like something where people bring all their art and then sell it to the community. So I have sold in those situations, sold books to people like fans that I get to
okay.
meet in person. And yeah, no, that feels great. It feels great to both like a lot of people just don't are like so blown away by the idea that hey, yeah, you can just make your own comic book. And it's like, oh, and because I do everything independently, do it yourself. We are our own company or our own, I call it a brand since it's not actually officially a company on paper, but like our brand is built by a bunch of independent artists and writers and colorists. And yeah, we love the hell out of making our books, even if everybody even if we're not as widely distributed as Eric Larson, the person who I'm having whose act I'm having to follow today, as I'm given Anderson
You will be very proud.
it.
You'll be very proud. Um, well, I think that people coming out with their own comic books. We having one in particular. I very much. It's a dream. It's a dream come true that we get to live out our dreams and we get to put out what's in our mind. On paper. You know what I mean? And we get to write what's really in our head, and we get to write how we feel, and what I mean. Not a lot of people can do that. Not a lot of people are able to do that, and that's a gift that it was give that's given.
Yeah, I do feel
Um,
blessed.
what's that?
I do feel blessed to be talented with my writing ability, and I've definitely have an incredible team that it's amazing to get to work with them.
It's very awesome. Very awesome. Very awesome. What was your proudest accomplishment in comics
Um,
comics or whatever or book writing stories?
Probably our first Kickstarter is a pretty big moment for us. That we did a successful Kickstarter for our Halloween book, 13th Moon, a few years ago, and yeah, successfully launching that was probably my biggest moment so far as a comic book writer. But as a writer overall, putting out a book is pretty big for me. Um, that yeah, I'm incredibly proud to have finally put out a book.
Awesome. So you're never too old, you're never too young, you're never too, nothing to, you know, put out your very first. I just live out your dream.
To write and create, yeah, it's never too early to
Yeah,
start
write and
writing your
create.
ideas down,
Yeah,
or too late.
yeah. If that's your dream, yeah, if that's your dream, go for it. Because as you get older, you'll wonder, like, man, I should have done that. You'll see everybody else doing it. You know what I'm saying? You'll be like, man, and then you see them climbing the ladder of success, and you wonder, why haven't I done that? You know,
Mhm.
life will pass you by. And that's how it happens. And that's how I understand. I understand how you feel. So,
Yeah.
so I have another question.
Okay. Yeah. No worries.
um, ooh, how do you handle the stresses and pressure of you know being able to of getting done before a deadline?
Oh, we're pretty flexible with deadlines. um, I have books that I've been working on. I've Gunmetal Black Ops #4. We've been working on for like at least 4 years. That it's taken us 4 years to finish like a single 20-page comic book. Um, and that's come sometimes from artists. I work with a lot of artists overseas, and it's like I only have a relationship with them through Facebook. And so I send them money sometimes, and if they don't talk to me for a few months, there's nothing I can do if I'm dependent on that artwork for this book. So the rate at which some people are able to work is kind of dictates when I can publish certain books. But personally, yeah, I'm pretty good at beating a deadline myself. But I'm also, you know, excuse me, I work a full-time job, so I got to work it around, just being an adult and, paying for my car and paying for my apartment and my groceries and stuff. Um, so, yeah, I've been pretty flexible about, there were like maybe 4 books that we were going to put out last year that'll actually come out this year. Um, so I haven't set any new goals for this year other than the books that we didn't put out for last year. And if I can finish all of that by the end of 2023, then we'll plan some new books for 2024. But for right now, the only books I'm planning on putting out this year are the ones that I meant to put out last
Awesome. Awesome.
year. Thank you.
Oh. What is the biggest challenge you have faced in the field of your work?
Um, yeah, affording it maybe. Yeah. I would put out so much more work if I had like an extra like $1,000 a month to spend on art teams. So I think financially it's always been a struggle just to like um put $200 to $400 a month into an artist or a series of artists that are working on books with me at any given time. Um, so yeah, I think like that's probably the biggest part of the struggle. I think the creative side is all fun. The creative side is definitely like once you got a team that seeing them bring your ideas to life and then them sending them back to me so I can put the letters over them. That process is all a lot of fun.
Very true, very true, very true. You know, it takes dedication. It takes dedication getting your first book out, getting your very first project out. It takes dedication and it takes determination. You know what I'm saying? And I remember when I first came out with my first book called Jarhead. Oh my God, that was a hard process. The most hardest process I've ever been through because setback after setback after setback, being told no, being told you can't do it. It's it's a very hard process. But if you strive and strive and strive in anything you're doing and you're determined to get it done in anything you're doing, dedication will get you through.
Absolutely. What is that Jarhead book? Is it about like a marine?
Yeah, it's about a marine, but also he's also an angel. He is a
Oh, cool.
he is God's judgment upon the wicked.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll give you I'll let you read it once the show's over.
Absolutely. I can send
All
you
you gotta
some
do is
PDFs of my stuff too.
yeah, send me your uh send me a friend request on Facebook. Just
Word.
for ask just for the
Yeah. Yep.
I'll just send you my handle when we get off the show.
Awesome.
But the basically what I was trying to say is that determination is what needs to be taught and needs to be put into people because not everybody is willing to go through the struggles of getting a book out and getting their first comic out. You know what I'm saying? They see what we do and they be like, oh, I could do that. Okay, go ahead and do it. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. If they've got good ideas,
We'll
for
sit and
sure.
wait. Yeah, because a lot of people have this notion of that it's the have being a comic artist is it's not a real job. Actually, it is a real job. It's just not it's just not weekly, and it's just not 2 week. It's not bi-weekly. This shit is
Mhm.
all year round, all your life, all day, all night type of work. This is
Well, when you
life
can.
ending
Yeah.
and life. Yes, this is your life here. This is the type of
Mhm.
job that can make you or break you. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because these are the type of jobs where confidence come into play.
For
Confidence, you
sure.
have to have confidence because those are the type of things that these type of work type of jobs come with. You know what I'm saying? And those who have a book out should understand where I'm coming from. You know what I'm saying? Should understand and know that it's hard getting a book out or getting a comic out, let alone getting a novel out. Getting any book out
Yeah.
is very, very, very hard. You know, you have to
Mhm.
take time out. You have to think about the plot. You have to think about the script. You have to think about putting the characters in place. You have to think about the art, all of that.
Yeah.
That is
Definitely.
that is work in itself.
Mhm.
What's your thoughts?
Yeah. Absolutely. No. I mean, like I said, as having to work a job in food service full time to be able to afford my life as a person who lives on their own. Um, I I I do it when I can do it. Some days I'm too tired. Some days I'm like I get home and I'm just like I'm just watching TV tonight. And then some days like the work is conversations with some of my artists that I'm working with. Then it might just be like 2 or 3 hours chatting on Facebook, but it was all about projects that we have in motion. So sometimes that's how I'll spend my evening. But yeah, on my days off, I try to put as much energy as I can into creative projects usually.
Awesome, awesome. So, you know, what do you think about the comics, and the being an author? What do you feel about the industry in itself?
So I don't read a lot of comic books these days. The stuff that I do read is usually other independent creators that I'll either be proofreading for them or buy one of their Kickstarter books. So I might like read a little bit here or there. But yeah, I don't really read a lot of comic books anymore. I have been reading books again recently, but I absorb a lot of it through television and movies now. So it's like um, the way I consume the end product of comic book stories these days is more often as a TV show. Like I never read Doom Patrol. I've never read a book of Doom Patrol, but I love the television show. Um, the what was it, Peacemaker? That was hilarious. I've never read that character in any book or whatever. So I feel like these days I consume it more on the television and film end, and I think it's like because I don't have any expectation of getting in with Marvel or DC. I don't have any like maybe at a con I'll meet somebody cool and maybe like they will like an idea of mine and maybe I get an opportunity here or there. But I just like I don't have the time to invest hope in something like that. So I'm content being an underground indie artist or whatever. And yeah, so I like watching comic book ideas come to life in film and TV more than I concern myself with anything whatever books are out right now. Um, and I know some of my friends are more into staying up to date on certain comic books, but yeah, I just don't read comic books. I make comic books. Are you still there,
Awesome,
Daniel?
awesome. Yeah, I'm here.
I don't know the image for it.
The Image Group.
I'm back. I think. Yeah, I'm back. Okay, cool. I think I cut out for a minute there.
Okay. What was your most memorable experience?
In my life, um,
Well, just doing your
I
comics and your life, whatever.
uh yeah, I don't know about a specific comic book experience necessarily. From my life, I got to spend an afternoon in Tokyo once, and that was pretty mind blowing for me. Um, I, I might, yeah, I'd say an afternoon in Tokyo arguing with my ex girlfriend was one of the most memorable experiences of my life.
Okay. 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 Hey, it has fun. You know what I mean? Hey,
It was a moment we had to
can't
live
worry
through.
about nothing.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing to worry about, man. Ain't nothing to worry about. Hold on for just a second. How do you stay focused and motivated?
I think by keeping a lot of my work on my desktop on my computer, the projects that I have open, the stories that I'm working on, keep it right there on my desktop. Also, having my desktop image being something that's inspiring me to work or from the current project that I'm working on. So that, yeah, I do when I get home sit in front of my computer and like it's either I'm going to be watching a show on it or I'm going to be typing out messages to friends or I'm going to be writing a story and or maybe doing letters on a story. But the so knowing that that's my workstation and it's the first thing that I'm going to go to, and it's also kind of a place to goof off and watch the TV and stuff sometimes. So to stay focused, I keep the work at hand on my desktop, and yeah, pretty much. Also,
Okay. Okay.
keeping making regular podcast appearances, that kind of keeps my mind in it too. Knowing that I'm constantly promoting the books the newest books, and then also like providing a link to my other comic books or whatever. Um, it's always at least once or twice a week. It's what I'm doing that night is like I'm bringing more attention to our brand, and so that's part of the job too, promoting, marketing and promoting, and so if I'm not writing tonight, at least I'm out here trying to sell the book to some people.
Okay. Commercial, check me, please. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries.
Commercial. Commercial, check me, please. Put the camera on me. Thank you. Thank you very much, baby. Well, um, y'all know what tomorrow is. Tomorrow is the anniversary of the show, of the 100th episode, and I get to eclipse my goal. I get to explode. I get to crush my goal tomorrow, and I want y'all there with me. And this is going to be a special day. So all the people that's been on the In Your Face show, come on out. It starts at 8 o'clock. Come on out, have a discussion, or just come chill. Bring your projects, bring anything and everything you got. We will be promoting it for you. We will be asking you questions. You will have the floor. You will have all the time in the world, and you will be able to put your word out, and you will be able to get your project out, however you want to do it. Now, get the camera off me, baby. On to the show. Back to you.
Yeah.
So, where do you see, your book in the next 5 years?
I hope to sell. My goal right now is to sell 500 copies, and that I think I will stop my promotional tour if I can sell that many copies, and that in 5 years, hopefully, it'll be like my first book listed next to two other ones that I've done. I have other projects in motion right now that so I hope it'll be something that people are interested in because they heard about one of my other books, maybe.
Awesome. Hold on for just a second.
Yeah, no worries.
Sorry about that. Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
no worries. Congratulations on 100 episodes, by the way. That's awesome.
You say what?
Congratulations on 100 episodes. That's awesome.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like I said, it's been, you know, um, determination, hard work, and I give the honor to God. Without Him, I can do nothing. This is very experiencing moment because I've grown over the last year, And as I go back and I watch the shows and of what I did, I was able to see a younger me or a more nervous me than what I am now. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I grew into the shoes of the what I'm doing now, and I'm happy, more happier than what I was before.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yo, Adam, what's goody, bro? But yeah, um, so how many years have you been writing your book?
The first two stories, I wrote in about 2003 and 2004. I wasn't really writing them initially with the intention to put them all in a collection. Um, but when I had certain ideas for certain stories that I wanted to write, I wrote them. And then it was during the first COVID lockdown in 2020 that I was like, if there's any time to like assemble my collection and decide, which stories are in it or whatever, let's put out, the first chunk of the body of my work. And so I picked 17 stories, and there's still another few stories that I've written that are being saved for the next one. Um, but yeah, so the most recently written one was written in 2018, I think. Um, and that one also went on a is on a podcast as an audiobook. They like converted it to with sound effects and like character voices and everything. And that is on Dust Horizons. And it's like the Halloween episode from a few years ago. If you look up Targeted Adverts, that's an audio podcast that one of my stories got converted to.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So tell us a little bit about your book, the
So it's a
story.
lot of
Give us a little bit of the story.
Yeah, so it's a lot of horror stories and cyberpunk stories, and the cyberpunk stories, I think, take up more of the total page volume, and the horror stories are they're a little bit shorter, and there's only like 6 or 7 of them. Um, but yeah, I was working on a genre that I was working on inventing that I've been calling horror porn, and it's with graphic sex, graphic violence, and graphic substance abuse. And so, because it is such graphic content, I have built a system into the table of contents where you can avoid those stories because those stories don't have any capital letters in the titles. So if you don't want to read the really really graphic, disturbing kind of stuff that's in there, you can avoid that. You can stick to the more adventure, like action kind of stories that my cyberpunk sci-fi stuff is like. But it's definitely a juxtaposition between like both some shocking horror stuff and more lighthearted sci-fi shoot 'em up adventures and you know uh, deep space ghost ships and mad scientists on Venus and other fun stuff that I read.
So it's more like a horror type of story, kind of. You know what I mean?
Well, I'd say about a third of it, maybe a third to a quarter of it,
Okay,
is the horror stuff, and that
okay.
another big chunk of the book is actually the action adventure cyberpunk stories.
So out of that story, who is one of the characters in the story that you feel closest to?
Um, I don't know. The my favorite story in there is called the Slipstream Fiasco, and that is a ghost story told by a deep space trucker who, like, in the very beginning of the story, tells you that he's dead. He has a hole blown through his head from something that happens at the end of the story. But it's him telling you the whole story of how he met this cloned there was a cloned sex worker that, like, she comes from a factory where they just make these clones, and she's escaped though, and he falls in love with her, and it's the story of those two falling in love and driving across the solar system a little bit. um but yeah, and it ends with a violent scene where he does die, but she lives, and I don't know, that's my favorite story, and I love those two characters. So I don't know if I really feel closest to them, but I always love reading that story. I could reread it 1,000 times.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. How long do your stories last? No, most of your stories last.
Um, I'd say on average about like 13 to 15 pages if I did the math on what the average is. But the longest one is closer to 60, and the shortest one is only 3. So like there is a pretty
Okay.
big variance between the lengths of some of them.
Well, I have a friend of mine, and he had two. I actually have three friends of mine, Matt Fry and Matt Fry and Jared, and those guys are the owners of the crypto comics marketplace,
Cool.
and I would like to introduce you to them to maybe get your book in the database, and they'll and explain everything to you, how you can make money off of it, how you can you know introduce other people into it to buy your books from there and all that good stuff.
Okay. I will listen to what they can tell me about their website or whatever.
Not a problem. I'll talk to them. I'll talk to them about it. See what because they just went live, and I have to get my book in the database myself.
Cool.
But it'll work it. But anyway, I just wanted to give that out to you to show my guys, let my guys know that I got their back.
Cool.
Um, so where do you feel right that where do you see your book being up there? What is your main goal for your book?
I mean, like I said, I want to sell 500 copies if I can. I think some of the stories in there, some of the action sci-fi stories in there could be converted, adapted to screenplay. They can make good cartoons in some instances. So like that would be the big dream, hitting the home run out of the ballpark would be to sell the rights to one of those short stories to somebody that was interested in licensing it for a movie. Um, so
Okay.
yeah, yeah, that would be my biggest goal. But I don't have I don't have the access to big movie directors or anything.
Well, I mean, I know a couple of directors that might want to talk to, see
Oh
what happens.
maybe that if they get to read the book, I'd love for them to read the book. Absolutely.
You never know. You never know what can happen. But um, man, do you feel how do you feel about the comic book industry in itself? Do you feel like it devolve or evolve, and where do you see yourself fitting in that genre or in the novel genre?
I think that I'm comfortable as an underground artist. I'm trying to get a table at New York Comic Con next year, next October. That's my next major like goal to is to show up at a con with my books, with my short story collection, and also my comic books, and try to meet some people and sell some copies. And so that's the next big step that I want to take. I hope that I get that. I know like a table at New York Comic Con isn't guaranteed, so I hope that I'm able to get that. And that from and take it from there. Yeah, continue to build as an independent underground team with 123 Go Publications.
Okay, okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, so where can people find your book?
Okay, so
Where can people? Yeah,
right now you
sorry
can
about
go to
that.
indieplanet.com/123go, and then I think we have 13 or 14 books for sale up there. This book is for sale on Kindle right now. If you Google superliminal latency, um, and it'll also be available soon on indieplanet.com. Um, but the yeah, right now, if you do get to indieplanet.com/123go, then the book Trouble Number One, 13th Moon Volume One, and Gunmetal Black Ops Number Two are all available for free as a digital download. So if you want to like try out some of the books and see if maybe you like our art and our storytelling, and see if you might be interested in buying other titles.
I believe in you.
Thank you,
And
thank you,
hey,
Daniel.
yes, I believe in you. I believe that you can make it. You can make it at any time. Anything you can do, I believe in you. You got my support. You know what I mean?
Thank you,
And I would
thank you
like
so
to.
much.
And I would like to. No problem. I would like actually like for it to come tomorrow. Tomorrow to the anniversary.
I will be at work until 8 p.m. But I'll be able to tune in if you send me a link when I get home at about 8.
Actually, it's at 8 o'clock.
Okay, that's about when I'll be getting home. But like, so yes, if you send me a link, I will definitely watch. I don't think I'll be ready to go on right after work though. I'll probably be cooking dinner first.
Not a problem because we plan on going for a couple hours
Oh wow! All right.
to plan. I plan on going for a couple of hours for the show because I want to give people everyone a chance to get out what they want to say and to you know just to show their stuff, show their projects and everything, and just enjoy the show, because I want to make sure that people gets
Mhm.
heard, you know what I mean? And any
Awesome.
way of doing that, you make the show go longer than what it has. And this is the End Your Free show, baby. We don't have no limits, baby. We don't have no limits. We don't no limits. No. So we like to have fun. We like to go crazy, go wild, and just have fun. But I want to ask you a question, like, who are your favorite, if you had a Rushmore, right? Mount Rushmore, all the authors that you've read over the years, who are your top five?
Yeah, I did one of these recently, and I was really drunk, and I know I gave some interesting answers. Um, but all right, I'll bring it down to, since I haven't actually told you on this show yet what authors that I like to read. Um, all right, let's start with oh um shit. I
That
know
was a
where
hard one.
yeah, I'll come back to him. No, I'll come back to him. Um, the all right, William Gibson is my favorite author right now. So he gets a spot there for sure. Um, Isaac Asimov definitely gets a spot. Um, the Kurt Vonnegut, that's whose name I was trying to remember a minute ago. Kurt Vonnegut gets a slot. Um, the mm, then maybe from coming over from the comic book side of my inspiration as well, John Byrne. Throw John Byrne up in the mix. Um, that's four. I mean, Mount Rushmore is four.
I mean, you could say Stephen King.
Oh, I'm not huge into Stephen King. He is good. He's obviously prolific, but I read some of his stuff when I was little. I read like the Bachman books and a couple of the stuff like whatever was published in the early '90s to late '90s. But yeah, um, I don't read a lot of horror. Is the thing. I write horror, but I don't read that much. I read a lot of sci-fi, but I mostly read the sci-fi.
Which very understandable. It's not a problem. You have your fun. You know what I mean? If you don't read it, you don't read it.
Mhm.
Okay, what about your favorite comic book characters?
Um, my favorite X-Man is Clarice Ferguson, Blink from the X-Men. Um, I also Motoko Kusanagi, even though I consume her more from cartoons. The Major in Ghost in the Shell, definitely one of my favorite characters ever. Um, The right now, as I said before, being that I mostly consume comic book stories when they've been adapted to TV shows. Uh, Rita Farr, Woman on Doom Patrol. She's definitely one of my favorite characters in recent years. Um, at least started as a comic book character, even if I only am familiar with the character on the screen. Um, hmm. I used to, as a kid, I definitely was into like Wolverine and Batman. They were like the badass motherfuckers from the late '80s, early '90s when I was first getting into comic books. So that was apologies for my French if I'm cursing and shouldn't be, but the yeah, that's what I liked like when I was a kid. But yeah, I think those three that I mentioned just now. Oh, She-Hulk is definitely one of my favorite characters. John Byrne's run on She-Hulk is one of the best comic book stories ever told, in my opinion. And his art was brilliant. Um, in the recent television show I loved, I think they did a really good adaptation of that era of her character. I know she's not exactly the same anymore. Like she was breaking the fourth wall before Deadpool. Like she was doing Deadpool shit before Deadpool was doing Deadpool shit. Um, but yeah, so that's a handful of my favorite characters.
Awesome. You want to hear mine? Want to hear mine? Because I give you mine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
sure.
give you mine.
Yeah, yeah, let's hear it.
I give you mine. I give you mine. I give you mine. I give you mine. No. um. Uh. Wolverine is my favorite. One of my favorite. Death Blow. Death Blow. What's his name? Deadpool. Magneto. I cannot stand Spider Man. I see him every fucking day. I can't stand it. Um, Venom. I love Venom. Venom is like my all time favorite character. You know what I mean? Like I love Blade. Man, I love Pit, Doomsday, Rhino.
You're
Um,
really into villains.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They actually say a lot about 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 what I like. You know what I'm saying? I like dark, rugged, you know, in your face type of stuff. You know what I mean? I like the detail of art. You know, and I like the action. You know, and I like Cyclops. Jean Grey is one sexy, sexy. She's so sexy. Um,
She has the best
Rogue
powers.
is sexy. Yes, yes.
Whenever anybody asks me what
Storm.
superpowers I would want, I always say Phoenix, Jean Grey. You know,
You know, the one character I always liked was I guess I'm gonna have to throw in one of my characters. You know, a couple of my characters.
cool.
Miss Divine. Miss Divine is like the hood bitch, the one that'll slap you and throw you all over the place and don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? She's like one of those type of characters. You know.
Mhm.
Red Magic, man. Actually Jarhead's wife, actually.
Okay.
And Jarhead, I gotta put Jarhead first, man. Jarhead is like one of the most awesomest characters that I'm working on. He's like once people really get to know him and once people really get to know him and really get to see who he is,
Hmm.
they're gonna love it. They're gonna love the story that I came up with. They're gonna adore it. Watch. Um, and Demented Deuce. He's like more of a Joker slash Magneto slash what's his name? 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 Oh fuck. I forget his name. Um ah, the one with the gauntlet. The gauntlet hand.
Thanos?
Thanos. Thanos, one of my favorite characters. I get it. I get it. I get his name mixed with Nemesis from Resident Evil. Sorry about that.
No worries.
But Thanos. Thanos is one of the most gangster ass characters, man. Like he kicked the whole Avengers ass.
I like his
It took
daughter
them a
Gamora.
third.
I'm a big fan.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of Gamora. Yeah.
It took them. It took the Avengers a third movie, maybe a fourth movie, to kill him, to destroy him. I'm like, damn, this nigga, this man is the shit.
It
You
took
know, and
like
I love it.
it
What's
took
up?
two full Avengers movies, right?
Yeah, two or three, two
I think it
or
was two.
three. Yeah, because man, look, if they ever come out with a Thanos movie, I love it. I love it because Thanos is just the ass kicker, man. Like you gotta have a Thanos movie. You gotta have that. Like like Thanos has become a part of pop culture, a part of society.
Well, the snap is a meme. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and that's like, come on, man. Like, come on. Like, you can't tell me Thanos wasn't the shit. Can't tell me that. Like, he even kicked Hawk's ass, and Hawk was supposed to be. He turned Hawk from Hawk Smash to a bitch. Really? Come on, man. Come on. So come on, man. If you could
who
turn
killed?
Hawk into a little girl,
Who
a
killed
punk.
him? Who killed him in the end? Was
I
it
think it was
Iron Man?
Cat,
Iron Man?
Iron
Oh,
Man or
Captain
Cat,
Morgan.
Iron Man.
Okay. Yeah.
One of them.
Yeah.
I don't really
Fair,
watch Marvel movies like
fair
that,
team.
so you
Yeah.
see, I'm getting mixed up. But I did watch that last movie. Man, it was awesome because I watched it for Thanos. Thanos was the shit, you know what I mean? And I'm building my character Jarhead up to have that kind of impact. You know what I'm saying? But in a good way. You know,
Hmm.
you and what I like to do is this. I'm I'm building a segment right to have a draw off comic book the comic draw off where all the comic artists can come on the show and they could we'll have a drawing tournament where they could come on the show and they'll show their best drawings, right? And we'll be watching them draw whatever character we ask them to draw, right? And whoever draws the best gets a prize. What you think of that?
I that was actually the what you were saying was breaking up for me for a minute there. But I know you were saying having a draw off, having a bunch of artists together, and then like having them draw at the same time. But yeah, the signal was breaking up
Yeah,
just then. I'm so sorry.
just to see who's great, how great they are, just to see who draws the best character that I asked them to draw out, and they may get a gift card. I mean, get some money. You know what I mean? Depending
Cool.
on how great they draw that character. And I may just show that character in the back of my book. You just never know.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah. So like, what you think? What's your thoughts on that?
I think that's a cool idea. Definitely get some artists on the show at the same time drawing. I think that's a great idea.
I mean, it'll basically get them out there, and it'll also give them a chance to, speak about how they feel, how to speak about their work and all that stuff. I mean, and it's money involved.
Mhm.
Who wouldn't want to get some money?
Mhm. Yeah, sure,
You
absolutely.
know
Daniel,
what I mean?
I have to let you know I only have 6% left on my phone. I came home from work and didn't have time to charge it, so I'm very sorry, but I'm running out of time here.
Okay, hold on. Let me take this out.
Okay.
Let me take this out. Oh man. Well, thank y'all for tuning into the show. It's been well, and it's been the 100th episode of the In Your Face show, and we out. Peace.